So guys, it's finally been announced and we can start speculating, we can start talking about it. Season 9 of American Horror Story. Ryan Murphy tweeted out a video confirming that the Season 9 title and theme is going to be American Horror Story 1984 with a slasher movie theme paying homage to that amazing decade of horror classics. I haven't thought a whole lot about it. I mean, I have my theories about what this is going to be, and we can talk about all this stuff more as we get more information. But you know what? Let's just sit down for a couple minutes. I want everyone to go to the comment section below and share their thoughts and opinions as we talk about what we want, what we expect, and where this season's going to match up amongst all the other American horror stories that we've gotten thus far. Let's get into it. Hey YouTubers, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. Okay, first and foremost, I'm going to leave a link in the description section below. Go down and follow American Horror Story Leaks on Twitter. They're just a fantastic resource. They're so much fun. They're always posting little tidbits of various things that are coming out or have been announced, or just basically being ultra fans of American Horror Story. So go follow them. But anyway, they did come out and say that this season is the first season since American Horror Story Freak Show that's been set in the past, which is totally fine. I understand why they're putting it in this time period. You want to pay homage to all of these slasher and horror classics that took place during that decade of the 80s, smack dab in the middle. Who knows whether or not 1984 has a broader meaning? I mean, if this is going to be some Orwellian storyline, or maybe intertwining the whole concept in comedy from Cabin in the Woods in some way, like the government's behind this, or these slashings and it's for some bigger purpose or whatnot, who knows? Of course, if you're taking that point in history, if you're taking that date and you're only working off of things that came before, not after, then you can't use Child's Play, you can't use Hellraiser, you can't do all of that. So I think it's just kind of a placeholder, maybe a more significant year for Ryan Murphy, or has some kind of Orwellian concept, maybe hinting at the fact that this is going to be government oriented, Cabin in the Woods, trying to stop apocalypse, whatever, working with Satan, some organization, whether it's the government or not working with Satan. I know that's kind of crazy, but just hear me out on it. I think that's possible. But I really hope that Ryan Murphy and his team allow themselves to dwell in the whole slasher genre from that decade, and maybe even beyond or before, or just anything that has to do with classic horror movie tropes, characters, ideas, and everything else. I hope that they allow themselves to use Child's Play, possessions, dolls, all that other creepy stuff, and then Hellraiser. I know it's not the slasher genre, or it's just right off the cusp where everyone knows that Pinhead is an iconic force, but he doesn't really fit that mold. Use those concepts, because if you don't, I feel like you're leaving stuff on the table, and we really shouldn't be doing that with a whole season paying homage to a specific genre of films that so many people who watch this show are nostalgic about and they love so very dearly. And that really gets me to my point about this season. One of the reasons that I covered this topic a couple months ago, and I know the fan base has been clamoring for years now, is that this is Ryan Murphy's chance, the entire American Horror Story writing team and team in general's chance to get everyone who's fallen off the ship back on board. This is a nostalgic season. It's not just bringing concepts back from the past that worked with Apocalypse. Obviously everyone liked Murder House. Obviously everyone adores Coven. Putting those things together really awoke something in this fan base, but now doing that and jumping directly into something that the vast majority of horror movie fans, or just fans of movies in general, remember, it's part of the cultural zeitgeist. This is something that people are going to gravitate towards, and over the last 24 hours, we've seen that build up. This is exciting. I feel like this season is going to be the most hyped season for even non-fans of the show since what, maybe Coven first came out? I mean, I don't think that we're going to see this big of a push from normal fans and fans alike really looking forward to at least the first 2 or 3 episodes of this season. Maybe this season's great, maybe it's okay, maybe it's complete trash, but those first 3 episodes, mark my words, are going to be absolutely crazy online, and people are going to be wanting more and knowing where this series is going. But even if that's the case, guys, we have to deal with the elephant in the room. And I feel like a lot of people listening to this have either said this in the comment section, told me on Twitter, or know that this is the case with most seasons of American Horror Story. Once you get past those initial 3 episodes where they're still dwelling in all the stuff that's going on here, or all the stuff that's mysterious about the story and how they're building it, it starts to drop off with quality. And you don't know whether or not it's going to get better. You don't know the highlights that you're going to see throughout the season or anything else like that, but you realize what you wanted them to do is not what they decided to do with the television show or that particular season, and a lot of people lose interest as the series progresses. That's just the most basic criticism you can give to American Horror Story. They have so little time to build a story, and they have a pretty consistent formula with building mystery throughout the first couple episodes to keep people invested. And then as soon as they start dwelling in it, you get to know what's going on, and it starts becoming more and more generic sometimes. I feel like we felt that pretty heavily last season with Apocalypse, where the first 3 episodes dealt with the fallout, the outpost, and wondering how it's all going to connect before it went into a 7 straight episode flashback bonanza. And I know a lot of people, based on my small community here, really did not like that. They wanted to go back to the whole Apocalypse thing. They didn't want to see the birth of it. They didn't want to dwell too much in the Coven or Michael or what was going on with that story. We wanted to explore the Apocalypse a little bit more, and they didn't let that happen, despite the title being Apocalypse. So let's take a little breath, not let this fool us. Maybe it's quite possible that this season will be overly hyped, people will be excited, but you're going to have to anticipate, like every other season, that after the first 3 episodes, a lot of people are going to lose interest. That's totally fine. Most fans are going to stay with the show. Most fans are going to continue loving the concept, and they want to see the 10 or 11 or 12 episodes. I'm not sure right now whether or not they've said it's going to be more than 10, but it's been 10 for the last 2 seasons. I mean, I know Cult was 11, but it was 10 for Apocalypse, and I believe it was 10 for Roanoke, and season 6 and season 8 are tied for the shortest seasons. And I feel like because the Fox merger and everything going on with Ryan Murphy going to Netflix, I feel like this season's going to be 10 episodes as well, but we're gonna have to wait and see. So while I'm hyped, and I can't wait to see what they do with this particular season, because I feel like this is the one. This is the one for every fan, both new and old, and people who haven't even heard or ever watched American Horror Story before. This is the one that people are going to get excited about. But it's still American Horror Story, and this is something, like I said, has been very consistent. All right, let's jump into what we know about the cast and what this tells us about the story or what's going to happen. As I've already talked about just a little briefly, I feel like the only 2 scenarios that they can go with this storyline is you completely copy Friday the 13th, which seems to be what Ryan Murphy is suggesting with the video that he put out. But we all know the promos and teasers of American Horror Story don't really give away the whole concept. They just give away what the theme is without actually showcasing what the story is going to be about. So don't let that fool you. We know the theme is slasher. I feel like you can only do a Camp Crystal Lake sleepaway camp scenario, or you take the Halloween route where it's a normal street with young kids going about their day with teachers and school and all this other stuff. I want to put a poll on this video, and I'll probably put it on the community tab, something like that. Go into that poll and tell me what you want. Do you want the sleepaway camp, or do you want just a normal street, teenagers, all of the other stuff? Because I'm not sure which one I want yet, and I feel like the cast that we know of and the story potential that we can get can work its way to either storyline. So maybe it's going to be both. I mean, it could be both. I mean, they could start in one scenario, maybe the neighborhood with the school at the very end of the year, and then pivot into summer camp. But I feel like that's going to be a little too much. Let's keep it as confined as possible. As per the cast of this show, and I have to say, I already reported on this. A lot of other people jumped on this story as well. Evan Peters is not coming back for season 9 of American Horror Story. And with this theme, I feel like that's even more devastating than it really should be. Because think about it, when you're doing the horror movie slasher theme, the one perfect role for Evan Peters to play is the Corey Feldman Tommy role from Friday the 13th. Aged up appropriately, but a character who is dealing with a haunting idea from the past, a murder spree or something that was haunted or something else like that, who knows more than everyone else. And someone who comes into the story maybe as a hero at first, but everyone starts suspecting that whoever's killing people or whatever's going on has a lot to do with this guy who showed up and told everyone that stuff was about to go down, right? That's perfect for him. A little crazy, a little humorous, maybe off the wall, and maybe crazy enough where because he's leaving, because he's talked about how Cult, the whole story of Cult really pushed him over the edge and it made him want to take a break from acting. The idea that we got Cult before this story kind of pisses me off now, because I feel like Evan Peters was going to be perfect for this season and he could have played a role like that or anything else and he would have killed it. But now we don't have him in this season. The first season of American Horror Story where he's not going to be a prominent player, and yet it would have been the perfect one for him. So tell me in the comment section below what you think about that. But we also know that Emma Roberts is coming back. And Gus Kenworthy, the Olympic skier who played himself in Sharknado 5, they're going to be in a relationship. I feel like this works either way. You know, you can have them in the sleepaway camp, you can have them in the neighborhood school setting, whatever. And then obviously you have Sarah Paulson coming back. Would not be a season without her. Also works a nurse at the sleepaway camp, or a teacher, or a mother, or something in the other scenario. Who knows? Maybe someone who's dealt with this before. You know, you're gonna jump into Nightmare on Elm Street. Maybe she has a dark secret past and she's dealing with something. I mean, who knows? We don't know anything about the story, the characters, or anything else yet. We have the theme. And as I've already said, the theme works in so many ways. I think that the fan base and even people who aren't really familiar or care very much about American Horror Story are going to be so nostalgic, especially these days for 80s content, that they're going to jump on it. Mark my words, this is going to be the biggest season of American Horror Story thus far. The internet is already exploding about this information. The first episode, the second episode, the third episode, all are going to be huge hitters, and then we're going to see who stays and who wants to see how this story ends. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. Hope everyone is excited for this season. We're going to be covering it, reviewing it, dropping theories about what's happening and everything as it goes forward. We'll talk to you then. It's been real.